Good morning. Welcome. It really is Sunday morning, isn't it, Paul? Really
Yes,
is.
it's grey.
It's grey, dull, wet. Is
Is it wet? No, it's not wet yet.
Not yet.
No.
Not wet yet.
No.
That should be the catchphrase for this spring. Not wet yet. Just wait though, and it will be.
Oh, the winter and the autumn has been so wet.
It's been very, very wet. But anyway, welcome to Sunday morning. I'm Richard, if you didn't already know.
And I'm Paul.
And this is
Sunday Chat!
the original, the one and only Sunday Chat, I think you'll find.
You say there's another one.
We've mentioned it before. People
I
aren't
haven't
stupid.
looked it up.
People aren't stupid, they can find the imitator.
It is grey
I'm
though,
joking.
isn't it?
It is grey and it has been very wet and it's getting a little bit frustrating because I would like to tidy the garden. But the minute I walk on the grass, I sink.
It's very damp out there.
I just need it to dry up for about a week. And then I can get out and do things because things are starting to grow and we've got a couple of big projects that need to be done. Our fencing has got to be sorted and that's quite a big job. And we've got to demolish our shed.
Well, we don't really need to demolish our shed. We just need to remove it, don't we?
Yeah, it's got to be demolished.
Because it's sort of demolished itself.
It's got to be demolished. Let's just stick to that, shall we? Needs to be dismantled, demolished and removed. But there's loads of old crap in there that has been saved up and
You've got a
collected.
swing ball. You got your swing ball
Paul,
in there.
I'm talking about the stupid mound of glass bricks.
Oh yeah, but that's I
The
quite
door
like those glass
that you
bricks.
wanted to keep.
Yeah,
Things like that. Really.
I thought it might
pointless.
be useful, but it hasn't been.
It's very rare that the things you decide to keep become useful, Paul.
I don't keep that much.
Really?
Well, I do keep a lot in the kitchen. Yeah, need to maybe thin out the things in the kitchen.
We've got a lot of stuff. We're not, I wouldn't say we're hoarders, but we do hold on to things. And some things, I have to say, come in very, very handy. I keep hold of things like door handles, little knobs and things like that, different types of screws, bits of metal work. And actually over the years, I've kind of made stuff and thought, you know, thank goodness I kept that because I wouldn't be able to buy that now. So, you know, sometimes it's useful, but if you haven't got the space, you
Yeah,
need
you
to
can't
get
do it,
rid,
yeah.
you know. And having a dilapidated shed at the bottom of the garden actually is a real problem for me because those kind of jobs I hate. It's a real challenge for me to do that kind of thing. I would rather just pay somebody to come in and remove it and get rid of it. It's pointless having it, but we're lazy. We haven't got round to doing it, and also we've not had the cash flow to do it either. So
and also there's been other things that have taken priority.
there have been other things like
Yeah.
poorly cats and stuff like that
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
past, 5 years or so. So yeah, things do take priority.
And it's lovely to go and see Mum, but that takes, we spend over a sort of month in going to each year really collectively.
But I think, motivation plays a big part as
Yeah,
well.
it does.
And
It does. And the thing about the shed is it's right at the back of the garden, isn't it? And it's not out of sight, but it's quite easily out of mind sometimes.
And the thing about motivation, as I was just saying, before I was interrupted, if you are kind of the type of person whose mood does change according to various external factors, you can find it very, very difficult to work towards a goal. Even if you break it down, I've thought about doing it bit by bit, but
What, the shed?
yeah, but I just can't even get myself down there to open the shed door to look at the ruinous nature of the scene that will open up in front of me. You know, all those kind of things go towards stopping me from doing it. And, you know, I know all the elements of the situation, don't get me wrong, I'm not blind to them, but it's a real challenge.
The shed has its own ecosystem now.
It does. It does. Anyway, let's move on from talking about the shed.
We were going to do it one day, and then there were foxes underneath.
Let's move on from talking about the shed because it's quite depressing and I don't want to go there really. Yeah, really. No, I don't. Not
Okay.
anymore. We've done it now, Paul. Haven't we? Yes. Lovely. Next, we've had a gift.
Oh yes.
Lovely
Lovely
gift
card.
from the lovely Nona.
And
Is it no? We hope it's Nona.
yeah, we did look it
Nona.
up. Yeah.
Nona.
A shopping bag.
Look at this gorgeous
Crocheted.
in one of our favourite colours. Gorgeous sky blue, Paul.
Right.
Do you want me to put it on?
No.
You could wear it as a little sort of... Oh, look at that. It's like something Lee Bowery would do. If you don't know who Lee Bowery is, then I'm afraid your life is,
Google. I did
incomplete.
think it was a sort of shift dress at first.
Why?
Because it's got
Why would
these,
Nona be
these thi-
sending us a dress?
Because she might think that you would look good in it.
Well, I would look good in anything, even a bag.
But I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you very
It is,
much.
we love it.
Thank you very much.
You know what I think it would be good for? Transporting veggies from the plot.
No, it's a lovely shopping bag, Richard. It's not going to be transporting veggies. It will get dirty.
But that's the beauty of a fabric bag. It can be washed, Paul.
No.
I don't want you breaking it like you've broken all the other shopping bags you've taken to the shops.
No, this is an occasional shopping bag. It's not for lots of things.
It's almost like a sort of beachy bag as well. It'd be lovely at the beach.
We don't go to
with
the
a
beach.
towel and sun lotion and things. No, we don't go to the
We
beach
don't go to
ever,
the beach.
so that's pointless.
That's not true. We do go to the beach when we're in Guernsey.
We don't sunbathe.
We don't sunbathe. No.
Hence, as opposed to this. No, poor Paul. I think you need some serum on your hair.
I'm going to have it all cut off.
I think it's looking a bit dry, love.
I'm going to have it all cut off.
I think you should go short.
Going short.
Coffee, we've got coffee this morning, haven't we, Paul?
I can't reach mine.
Oh, well, you'll just have to bend and stretch. Lovely, milky coffee with soy milk and instant coffee granules. Oh, the miracle of instant things. Because it is quite early, isn't it? What time is it? About 8 o'clock?
No, it's later than that. I don't know what time it is actually.
Alexa, what's the time?
It's 8:20 a.m.
8:20 a.m.
8:20. There we are.
Yum. Lovely. So,
What's
Paul,
next?
yes, what is next on the agenda? You've been down at the plot quite a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot at the plot over the past 9 days. And there are there was the plot tour, then there's 2 videos about the move to our relatively newly acquired plot. I think one of them came out last week, and that was moving the raised bed, the final raised bed. In fact, the only raised bed we've got, because the others are edged beds. And tomorrow there's going to be one about... Oh, I removed that old compost bin, the pallet compost bin. Anyway, and then I built a hexagonal one that we had been given, a second-hand one that we'd been given. So I put that up. I put the aromatics back in the bed, so it's coming together now.
Oh, well done.
But there was a lot of rain on that one, so tomorrow there's quite a bit of rain. So that will be up tomorrow morning.
More lovely plot videos.
And everything I've done so far has been sort of quite big, quite structural. And there's a few more structural things to do, including that big fruit bed, the soft fruit bed that we need to sort. But what I've decided is the next in this series, which will be episode 7.
How many bloody episodes are you doing, Paul?
I've plotted
Oh,
116.
shut up. Don't be ridiculous, Paul.
So this episode 7 is actually going to be smaller jobs. It's going to be about moving Comfrey and moving the Oxide Daisy, and I must remember to keep some for Vivi of that as well because she wants some. And the smaller things, because we concentrate quite often on the big things and we don't necessarily concentrate on the smaller things that need to be done. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So where the ones that have been uploaded so far have all been quite big things and just 1 or 2 things, this is going to be about 6 or 7 things in that episode. Small.
God, that's exhausting, Paul.
Oh, and we noticed that some of the Gigantes beans that are on our vacated plot have started having little shoots. They've started germinating it. Well, not germinating, growing again. So they've overwintered
So what are you
in the
gonna do?
ground. Well, the person who's got that plot, I won't say who they are, but the person who's got that plot is going to grow them and see what happens.
So cut them down.
No, because they're already cut down.
Oh,
and
I
there's
see.
little shoots coming up from the
Oh, so
from the
you
base.
did remove all of that broken
Yeah, all
thing
of that's gone.
That's been
yeah.
done. Was that on a video?
No,
Oh.
no. I do need to remove some bits of metal, but do that when I've got time.
And also, you've been going absolutely bloody mad on the Instant Pot.
Oh yes.
You love it, don't you, Paul?
I do love it.
It's taken it
I do
over.
love it.
You won't let me use it.
Well, I thought this evening we might make a bean and sausage casserole.
With vegetarian sausages.
Yeah, with vegetarian sausages.
The one thing you've got to remember with the Instant Pot is you can't really put anything that's going to get too thick. Because
No.
we've had a couple of instances where it says burn on the screen, and that means it's at risk of burning. So what it does, it's very clever. It shuts off the pressure,
It shuts
pressurizing
itself down,
system
doesn't it?
to stop anything from sticking to the bottom.
And it turns the heat off.
Yeah, it's a very, very sophisticated machine, I have to say. But a couple of times you've forgotten this rule, haven't you, Paul?
Well, it's sort of working out what sticks and what doesn't. What I've realised, well, what I think, is when something is quite thick and you add miso paste, I think that is I think that's a sort of thickener as well, and
Is it?
it thickens on the bottom. And the other thing is, when we were going for a walk the other day, a impromptu walk, I had been making some soup and I just put pearl barley in. And what happened is Richard said, right, we're going for a walk, we're going for a walk. So we went for a walk and I switched everything off. It hadn't really come up to heat. But the liquid that the pearl barley in was warm, and the pearl barley started cooking, and I think what happened is the sort of starches from the pearl barley, when I started cooking it again several hours later, I think the starches fell to the bottom, and I think that's what, as a thickener, that's what started to burn.
Because you've got to remember, it doesn't have a boiling action.
No.
So,
No.
you know, it works under pressure. So it doesn't boil things. Things aren't, what do you say, a rolling boil.
No.
So, you know, things remain static. So things will sink. So we're learning.
Yeah.
But we've had no disasters. It hasn't affected.
No.
It hasn't affected the food. We've still had edible dishes.
Well, lovely dishes.
Lovely dishes. And
You needed a bit more salt in that soup I made.
You do under-season, Paul, and I think you're guilty of not tasting the food enough.
Oh
when
no,
you're
I do
cooking
taste it.
Well, you don't.
There was
clearly.
twice the amount of soup.
Twice the amount of...
Yeah, I tasted it all.
Anyway, let's move on. So wonderful, wonderful. We will be doing some cookery videos.
Yes.
We will be. But the thing with cookery is it takes, and we've said this before, it takes a lot of preparation to put a cookery video together. It's not just a case of sitting down, turning the camera on and frying an egg.
Well, it's like doing an allotment video.
It takes a lot of, well, I think... yeah,
exactly.
I think it takes a lot more preparation than an allotment video.
I'm not sure about that.
No, it does. Come on, it does. You've got to chop all the veg.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to prepare and get everything ready. You've also got to, very often, test the recipe before to make sure that it works. Well, you only have to if it's a new recipe that you're not totally sure of.
No, all of our recipes have been tested, or they're things that we always do.
Yeah. So, you know.
But interestingly, we are going to be doing some recipes from cookery books.
We are.
So we're going to be following the recipe in various cookery books and seeing how they do.
But, you know, not like next week.
No. Well,
It takes time to plan these things. Putting content together isn't like a walk in the bloody park.
or down the canal.
God, some of you seem to think it happens by magic. Well, it doesn't.
Fairy dust.
Look, I may be a fairy queen, but I'm actually not capable of casting spells. Not those kind of spells, anyway.
Next.
So you wanted to give somebody a shite-ite,
Oh,
didn't
yes.
you? A shite-ite.
A shite-ite.
A shite-ite.
Yes. Now, I don't normally mention plot holders or plot holders on our... Well, in fact, I don't mention
Has
plot
she
holders.
given you
Yes,
permission?
yes, because it's actually in the name of what
you.
I'm going to say. One of our plot holders, who I have known for 4 years, this is at our allotments, we were chatting the other day about Richard's photos, and she said, "Oh, I do lino cuts," and I said, "Oh, do you?" Because I love lino cuts. I think they're I'm intrigued by the process of lino cuts, and she said, "Yes, I sell them on Etsy," and she does. Well, I mean, she does. She told me, but she is. What did I say? But and she is. She has a sheep on there, which is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm sort of quite tempted by it, but I'm not going to. But I'm quite tempted. But I think she's great. Helen Norfolk Art on Etsy. So if you go to Etsy and put in Helen Norfolk Art, as in Norfolk the county, you'll see her lino cuts. And she's going to be doing more of them, but I think they're really lovely. Many are of animals, and there's a couple that are landscapes, but do have a look at that. Yeah. And
Lovely.
then yesterday, coincidentally, Terry put a lino cut up. I'm not sure if that was on Planet Vegetaria or her own timeline.
Who?
Terry, T. Terry put up Terry, one of our friends, put up a lino cut of a camera, and she showed the lino that she had actually cut and the print from that lino cut.
What is it, like floor lino?
Yeah, well, yeah. We used to use floor lino when we were kids
I
at
don't
school.
know, I've never done one.
And you have a really sharp scalpel and you carve it out. But I've not been artistic with things like that. I've never been able to do things with my hands like that.
No.
But I know, design-wise, that's been. I know you don't think this, but that's been part of my job for years. Has been design of things, particularly artwork.
Is that why your thumbnails are so good, Paul?
Anyway. Have a look at Helen Norfolk Art, and I'll see if Terry's posted that to Planet Vegetaria, and if not, we'll post it onto there.
Good. How lovely, Paul. So, my word of the week. Tohu bohu.
I know this.
Tohu bohu. Or tohu bohu.
Tohu. Tohu bohu. Tohu bohu.
bohu.
Tohu bohu is when everything is muddled together.
No. I thought you might know this one.
It's everything is muddled together. Something like that.
It's chaos, disorder, confusion.
Yeah. I didn't know it was chaos.
Something that comes naturally to you, Paul.
Oh dear.
Lovely.
Yeah, I sort of knew that one.
Oh, pardon me. I do apologise.
I have a bit of sleep in my eye there.
Oh, how disgusting.
I'll just put it on your knee. I think it was an American client of mine who used to use that.
Really? Let's
Yeah.
move on, shall we? Okay, so TV this week, what we've been watching on the telebox. What have we been watching on the
Poirot.
telebox? Poirot.
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 I don't think it's pronounced that way.
Well, he gets a porridge. He was said porridge once. Yeah, we've watched a lot of the Suchet Poirots, which we'd recorded. We've got a few more to watch. Last night we watched Death on the Nile. Or is it Murder on the Nile?
Well, you watched it.
Yeah, you fell asleep, didn't
God,
you?
they're too long.
Well, it is quite a long one.
They're
that
too
one.
bloody long.
They went from being an
Really?
hour long with the short stories to being 2 hours long with the novels. But what Frances de la Tour was in it,
She was. Lovely.
and she is such a fantastic actress.
Well, hang on. Hang on a second. She's completely and utterly typecast. She plays the same character with virtually the same voice. She occasionally does an accent, but she's absolutely adorable. That's why people like her.
and her timing.
And just the way she phrases things, she's superb at what she does, but she's not a character actress. She plays that one character.
Yeah,
Doesn't she?
I adore her.
Yes,
And
so do I.
there's a particular scene where she gets shot, and the timing of that. I mean, being the director of that piece and working with that caliber of actor, I'm sure is just a joy, because the timing of it is just perfect.
Yeah, you've said that 3 times now.
I
think
can say it a fourth.
The audience gets what you mean, Paul.
But I did enjoy it very much.
Lovely.
We've got
Good.
Murder on the Orient Express to watch. So, and then that's it. And then...
Possibly retitled as Boredom on the Orient Express,
Well-
frankly. If it's too long, I fall asleep.
You do fall asleep.
I might be enjoying it, but it's too long, dragging on, nothing's happening, everybody's talking, blah, blah, blah.
So
Somebody
Kenneth Branagh, where I would like to watch the Kenneth Branagh Murder on the Orient Express.
With Dame Judy.
With Dame Judy and various other people. But I'm really put off by the ridiculous moustache he's got.
Well,
And I'm not a great Kenneth Branagh fan.
oh, it's alright, isn't he? I think he's a bit hammy sometimes, isn't he, Kenneth?
Do you remember that one he did with when Emma Thompson was his wife? They did a film together. I quite like that film that they did together, which was a
I don't remember
sort
it.
of thriller or something.
I was probably asleep.
But I'm not
And of course,
John Malkovich. Do you remember John Malkovich as
Yes,
Poirot?
I do. I don't think I fell asleep for that
You
one.
didn't fall asleep for that one. That was great.
It was, but I didn't like his accent.
No.
I mean, the worst Poirot really was, I hate to say it, Peter Ustinov. Really.
Oh, he was very...
People used
Yeah.
to cream themselves over him, didn't they?
Yes.
Literally. And I just don't understand why. I mean, yes, the guy was talented as a speaker, you know.
As a raconteur.
As a raconteur. Adorable, you know, but as an actor, I mean, he was in Doodah, wasn't he? Peter Ustinov, Logan's Run.
Oh, yes.
He plays the old man who
He
they
does,
find.
yeah.
And who they're amazed at how
He's
old he
old,
is, because
yeah.
of course they don't live after 30, which actually in some ways I think is quite a good idea. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, he can act, but he wasn't great as Poirot. The accent was bloody awful.
Who's the best Poirot?
I think David Suchet. Most definitely. He inhabits that character.
Well, he inhabits that fat suit, certainly.
And he absolute every single nuance is there.
I mean, it is interesting because I have watched virtually all of the Poirot over the last 4 months. From the first episode of the first series through to Final Curtain, which I haven't watched yet. And it's really well, I have seen it. I haven't watched it again yet. I haven't watched it again yet. So we watched it several years ago. But seeing how the character progresses over that period of time has been quite interesting. Because the Suchet Poirot at the beginning is very, very different to the Suchet Poirot at the end.
Yes, but
not only because the character has aged, but that understanding of the character that David Suchet did dwell in has deepened.
But of course, characters do develop and change.
Yeah.
Because of their experience. I mean, if you are Poirot and you've been through all of those murders, all of those investigations, you are going to change as a person and a character by being affected by those situations. Nobody is superhuman. So, you know, even the best of police and detectives become affected by what they've seen. You know, it's PTSD and all of those things. So he is going to change and morph, and I think that's very clever. And it's not only him getting to grips with the character, it's how the character would change.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. I think that was particularly shown in The Labour of Hercules, both the book and the adaptation, where you see the vulnerability of Poirot come out, and the fact that this Belgian detective is quite sad about having been on his own without a lady friend for much of his life.
Lovely. Great. So my little television boondoggling has been Hellier. I've now finished both season 1 and season 2 of Hellier. Hellier is available on Amazon. Is it Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. Amazon Prime. Now, you've heard me talk about Hellier before, and if you haven't, then, you know, it's basically a program about a group of paranormal investigators who get tipped off about a strange story in the town of Hellier, which is Kentucky.
Goblins.
And it's basically this guy that says he and his family are being terrorized by these goblin-like creatures coming out of a mine. Which in itself is spooky and strange enough, but it leads them down a rabbit hole, let's say that, and the whole 2 seasons are kind of based around their investigations and all the synchronicities and occurrences that happen to them. And I love it. I'm not a great believer in the paranormal as in spirits and ghosts, but it challenges that with me because they talk about interdimensional beings from other parallel universes and stuff like that, which really captures my interest. So if you like sort of things that scare you, because frankly it terrifies me, whenever I watch it I go to bed feeling really nervous, and I have to really get a grip, because they do some really brave things, you know, going into these caves in the middle of the night, and
They do everything in the middle of the night, don't they?
well, of course, but no, they don't do everything in the middle of the night. They do investigate during the day, but it's just really creepy. And I love the characters. Well, they're not characters; they're real people. I love the investigators. They've got great personalities, very sweet people as well. So I hope they do another series, because
Have you
I really enjoyed it. I haven't investigated.
Has it?
that
Is
yet.
it? So that's 2 series, and they haven't.
It started off as a YouTube series
Right.
and then was picked up by Amazon, I guess. So very recommended if you're a lover of the paranormal, and spooky goings on, like I am. Lovely. That's lovely. Picard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We've been
what?
enjoying. Well, when you were saying about interdimensional beings
Yeah.
and parallel universes and things,
Yeah.
there was a moment in Picard which I thought was really interesting when he said about something 200 millennia ago or 200,000 years ago, which made me realise that the whole concept of that is that there are other civilizations out in the universe that have been around longer than humans.
Well, this is this is a debate that goes on, because they talk about how long it takes for a civilization to evolve to the point of being technologically advanced. So, you know, the universe has been around for, what, 13.8 billion years. The
It
Earth
will
has,
take a decade.
the Earth has been around for, I don't know,
Was it 3?
a few billion years.
Yeah.
Look how long it's taken us to evolve to where we are now. The other question is, do civilizations reach a certain point and then kill themselves off?
Yeah.
You know, do they not? They may not get beyond a certain point without disaster
Self-destructing, effectively.
occurring, self-destruction. We live in a closed ecosystem. As we know from the news at the moment, a virus can sweep through the world and cause havoc. You know, so there are all these questions around civilizations. What's the limit to the laws of physics, for example? You know, would, in order for these species to communicate across such vast swathes of space, they would need to be able to warp space and time in order to travel, or have some kind of machine that can communicate across vast distances through space and time. So, you know, it's a big question.
It is.
It's a big question. Yes, there could be civilizations that are eons old, maybe from other universes.
Yes, because
that's what you've got to think.
Yeah, there could be other universes.
We may not be
yeah.
the only universe. There could be other universes that have been around for trillions of years. You know.
Which goes back to that thing in Men in Black and Orion's Belt, which I always... That concept of a universe in a sort of small bauble was
within another universe,
within
which
another-
is
yeah.
massive, that's
Yeah.
possibly in another universe,
Yeah.
which is even bigger than that. You know,
It's mind-boggling.
it brings
really.
into question scale as well, because if you really look, we've got that book, The Power of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that book and really think about it, we on the Earth are no more important than a drop of water filled with microbes.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely, we're not. We are literally nothing. Nothing. A speck of dust, like an amoeba. So if you think about scale in that way, what if huge creatures that are as big as a universe or a galaxy exist? Beyond the laws of physics? Who knows?
We just don't know yet.
We don't know. Well, we never know. Don't
No,
think
we'll
ever
never know. I still find, and I'm going to use the word, it awesome to understand that when you look into the sky at night and you see a star, you're seeing light that could be millennia old.
Well, it's been travelling.
It's been travelling. That light has been travelling, so that is old light. You know, it's been travelling all of that time to hit your retina. And I find that quite astonishing. You know, we're so used to switching on a light and suddenly there's light, where when we look into the sky, all of that light that we see has taken eons to travel to us.
We're essentially looking back in time.
Yeah.
We're looking back in time.
That's
when you look
awesome.
when you look at the sun, you're seeing it how it appeared. I think 8 minutes ago, because the light has taken 8 minutes to reach us. So you're looking back in time. So the nearest star is 4 light years away? So its light has taken 4 years to reach us. So if you were stood on a planet that was I don't know, 200,000 light years away, and you were able to see us, you'd be looking at ancient Earth.
Yeah, you absolutely. Yeah, they weren't there. Yeah, humans were just a sort of tiny speck then. I assume,
don't know.
even if they were there, I don't know.
I'm not sure about the span of human evolution. I don't know what the timing is on that, but it's interesting, isn't it? All these questions, all these discussions are fascinating. Fascinating. Some people find it mind-blowing. I find it mind-blowing, but my mind can grasp these concepts because I've been reading astronomy books since I was a child.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my mind is kind of linked in with
Beetle, I mean, you know, some of the things that we see, some of the stars that we see, don't exist anymore, and that is.
You were going to say about Beetlejuice.
I was going to say about Beetlejuice.
Betelgeuse. Well, yeah, but they're saying that the dimming of Beetlejuice at the moment is possibly down to dust emissions, dust clouds, so it may not be about to go supernova. But like you say, many of the stars in the sky, when they do go supernova, they went supernova
millions of years ago.
Well, potentially that, or thousands of years ago. It depends how far away they are. And we're just seeing that happen now. Anyway, let's move on because otherwise it's a rabbit hole that we won't get out of.
A wormhole?
No, a rabbit hole, Paul. So, I think we're almost done. We were going to mention that we feel that spring is a bit early.
Yeah.
This year.
We've said that before, but it seems that a lot of the blossoms that come in a sequence
are out of sequence.
That
now.
Sequence has got a lot tighter. So we have a cherry blossom that is out at the same time as a forsythia, which is out at the same time as a broom, which is out at the same time as a plum, and a magnolia. It all seems to have compacted.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the impact of that will be
No.
on the growing season, so it's quite interesting to think about that. We've had a couple of warm nights, and yesterday was very mild. You were really warm yesterday.
Really
I
warm
was
yesterday.
worried that maybe you had a little temperature, but you haven't, have you?
No, I haven't.
No.
I was just very warm yesterday. I did do quite a lot at the community gardens. Yeah, well, I didn't do a lot actually. I did a lot, but I was pruning, so it wasn't active work.
It was the Saturday social,
It
wasn't
was
it,
that,
yesterday?
yeah. So there was lots of stretching and bending. I was doing tree lines, apple tree lines, and pear trees. I was pruning them. Just, Anyway, it would have nice to have done more of that last month, but it didn't happen. But I was really warm, and we actually opened the window last night, didn't we? And had the window open till we went to bed around 11 o'clock. It was quite a few degrees warmer, but it looks chillier today.
But let's not forget, or let's remember, that we're only in March.
We are only in March.
And actually, things don't start really warming up properly until June, really.
Well, May.
We can have a warm May sometimes, but we can also equally have a very cold May.
Yeah. There is a cold snap. That cold
Yes.
snap that I've been following since February on the long-term forecast seems to have slipped back now to the end of March, beginning of April, where it goes down to minus overnight. You don't know.
What's going to happen to the potatoes then?
Well, the potatoes, they'll have to go into the community gardens.
What about planting potatoes in general? Because aren't you meant to avoid frost?
Well, you need to avoid the growth. Needs to not have any frost hit
Right. Okay.
because that will burn it.
But
But it could recover.
They're not likely to sprout that quickly, are they?
Well, I mean, we could have frosts in early April.
So what do you do? Do
you
cover
fleece them.
You fleece them.
Yeah.
That's
you
what
have
I
to
was
fleece them.
getting to.
I mean, the 17th of March, St Patrick's Day, is really a day that many people plant their potatoes, which obviously goes back to Ireland and all of that.
It's a bit early though, isn't it?
But I don't think we're going to be doing any for a couple of weeks yet.
Is it still a bit wet?
I do. Well, we're quite lucky because where we are, the ground is not too, well. The earth is wet, but the ground isn't wet. If you get what I mean. Because we have edge beds and raised beds, that soil tends to not get too wet because
Right.
the water will go down to the ground level, if you like. So we can plant a couple of weeks
But
earlier.
what happens if people dig?
If they dig down, then if you're digging into the soil, then it could be wet, and you don't want to put any potatoes into wet ground because they may just rot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So be wary of
Good.
your conditions.
Lovely. That's great, Paul. I think that's probably
Is that it?
Paul. I think that's good. You did mention the word inspiration,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yes.
And a couple of people have said that they were inspired by you, Paul.
Well, I think.
Oh, how lovely. How lovely.
I think actually what is lovely about what we do is many people have said they're inspired by us, not just me.
Really?
And that what we do has helped them in particular ways of getting back into their garden or starting making bread again or getting back into cooking or just sort of lightening their mood and their daily life. And I think as a small channel, it's quite moving when you get emails from people and you get notes from people who say how much we have helped them, inspired them, and been a sort of bright ray in some really dark moments of some of the lives of our subscribers. And some of you know the tragedies that you've had in life, and you've told us how what we do helps and inspires you and lifts you. And I find that really quite moving. I really do. And we see that on Planet Vegetaria, our Facebook group, on a very regular basis. Yeah, it's quite moving, really.
Thank you. Bloody thank you for all your feedback and all your comments, new subscribers, old subscribers, and the very old ones. Yeah, that's it. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the week for more mini vlogs daily on Planet Vegetaria. That's Planet Vegetaria, a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. That's Richard and Paul since 2017, and that's contractual. So, see you very soon. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.